Realism is a theory that affirms the following: states work only to increase their own power. The world is harsh and dangerous, so power, especially military, is needed. States' primary interest is self-preservation. There is international anarchy because all states are sovereign.
Idealism is a philosophy in where they believe people are great and will search for the common good.
Darfur is the region of Western Sudan. A conflict started there in 2003. This conflict can be considered both political and ethnical. Political because it started after decades of Darfur being marginalized area by the Sudanese government. Ethnical because now there are several different ethnical groups involved. Sudan used to be a British colony. Since it gained its independence in 1956, it has gone through political instability. In 2003, a rebel uprising by the Justice and Equality Movement and the Sudan Liberation Army began against Sudan's Arab government because they felt neglected. There had also been previous economic and environmental problems. This led to a huge genocide. The government was targeting and killing non-Arabs and rebel groups. Even the president of Sudan was accused of committing crimes against humanity. More than 2 million people have been displaced because of this conflict, which is yet to be solved.
Syria's civil war started as a nationalist conflict. At the beginning, Syrians were only demanding new reforms and the resignation of President Bashar al-Assad. Then it also became a governmental conflict because the government started killing the rebels group for protesting. Then the rebel group started killing civilians. ISIS can be considered both a religious and a nationalist conflict. Religious because Muslims want to enforce Sharia in their land. Also, ISIS ideology is all governments are evil and should be replaced by a caliphate. ISIS' goal is to fight and eliminate infidels. And nationalists because they want to create their own nation with their own principles and rules.
For decades, there has been a conflict between Arabs and Israelis in the territory that is nowadays known as Israel. This can be considered a religious conflict because it basically puts Jews and Muslims against each other. But most importantly, it is a territorial conflict because both factions have been fighting over Gaza and the West Bank for a long time. After World War II, Arab territory was given to Jews for them to form a new country, which they considered their traditional home. War started in 1948. Gaza was under Jewish control for decades, until they left in 2005. A group called Hamas was elected to govern Gaza, but it is considered a terrorist organization. Palestinians occupy Gaza and the West Bank, but life there is hard and dangerous. High levels of violence and terrible attacks have been happening ever since. Palestinians and Israelis both claim that territory is their home.
The Crimean conflict is a political and territorial conflict because it's a difference or disagreement over the position or control of a specific territory. In this case, Ukraine and Russia are fighting over the control of Ukraine. The situation with the Kurds is a nationalist conflict because they want a place to feel belong. So they are fighting and asking the government of Iraq to obtain a territory of their own. And because of this, it becomes also a territorial conflict.